In this demo, you will learn how to integrate JMeter with TestRail, so you can have all your performance testing together with your manual and other automated testing in one place. Before I start the integration using the TestRail CLI, let's go to the JMeter Plugins configuration in the JMX file to ensure I have the plugin for JUnit Reporter. This plugin allows integration with TestRail by outputting a defined JUnit XML file. It also allows you to define KPIs or performance thresholds to use as pass or fail within the TestRail test case feature. You can do this inside a test execution run for any thresholds you want to define in your given system under test. Once downloaded, you can easily install and configure using the Plugins Manager. Under my installed and available plugins within the JMeter JMX developer environment, you'll notice I've now enabled my JUnit Reporter, and I've added it already to my thread group, which can be easily done by right-clicking the thread group, selecting a listener, and then specifying a new JUnit Reporter. Once you do this, you can rename and then define your performance thresholds, as I've already done here. Now, let's check the JMeter JMX file configuration. In this example, the JMeter JMX file will define a single thread group, which will execute a number of threads or virtual users and any additional configuration that JMeter provides that you'd like to apply to this performance validation test. The next attribute is a HTTP request sampler for a given server interaction using our mock system under test. In this example, I'll use a dummy server that will provide results we can use to send to the JUnit JMeter Reporter. So next, let's talk about the configuration for the JUnit JMeter Demo Reporter that's within this thread group. This specific reporter defines thresholds for two specific test cases. The first one is the mean or average response time being no greater than 1,000 milliseconds. So any requests found within our session that are over 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second will fail this specific threshold. The second threshold defines a sampler error rate with no more than 1% sample errors for any of the tests that have been run. Let's go now to the actual script that will be used to execute this defined thread group with HTTP request sampler using the JUnit JMeter Reporter plugin demo. Starting from the top and then executing the script, first you will go and verify that the TestRail CLI is installed using the TRCLI command. The TestRail CLI is a command line tool that allows you to effortlessly upload test automation results using a JUnit-style XML file to TestRail. In this case, I'm running it locally, but you can also implement this easily in our CI/CD environments. In this specific instance, I copied and changed the location of the JMeter execution environment JMX file to be run relative to the executable for Apache JMeter. This will vary based on the configuration. You'll have to configure this based on your CI/CD environment or local execution. Next, you'll go and actually execute JMeter in a non-GUI server mode, using defined variables provided in the JMeter documentation using the JMeter JMX file that we just reviewed. Lastly, we're going to execute the TestRail CLI using our defined TestRail CLI configuration and credentials. In this case, I'm going to use a YAML file that has the credentials for the TestRail instance, the JUnit JMeter XML that has been created from the JUnit Reporter plugin. And then I'm just providing a title to the actual execution test run that will be automatically created within our TestRail instance. Let's go now and execute this using the integrated terminal. The script is running now, executing and uploading the results. You'll notice it's now processed and has added two different test cases and results based on the definition of the performance thresholds defined in the JMeter JMX file. Now that we've finished the integration with our TestRail instance using the CLI, just click this link and you will actually go to the test run created containing our JMeter performance threshold tests. In my TestRail instance, you'll now see the new test run titled Automation Demo JMeter, as specified in the run script we just investigated. Within this test run, you'll see two passing tests, each having a definition of each of the performance thresholds defined. The mean or average response time under 1 second, 1000 milliseconds, is defined by this test title. And then the second one here, which is the error threshold under 1%. You'll notice both actually match the defined performance thresholds, with both tests passing. The integration with the TestRail CLI and our JMeter performance tests provides an easy and centralized approach, adding greater visibility of these performance threshold validations either locally or within your CI/CD and DevOps environments.